I'm Mark, and I'm half-ass ready. Welcome back. Part 2, church security. Real quick intro. Me and Landon are back at it, and glad you come back for part 2. This is where we're going to get into the meat and the taters of this thing. So, and I'm going to immediately turn it over to Landon because I feel like he's the security guy. I'll add what I think when I think it, as usual. But but no, I'm going to let Landon get into his. This is the security part. This is where you need to pay attention. I know we probably bored you a little with the intro, but this is the part where we need to pay attention. So Landon, take it away, brother.
All right, I'm Landon with Merman Press. We're getting back into it, and I want to start this one with another Bible verse. 1 Peter 5:8-9. Be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Resist him, firm in your faith, knowing that the same kinds of suffering are being experienced by your brotherhood throughout the world.
Wow. You know, and who better than Peter, y'all? Who look, all of the disciples, right? All of the, Peter was crucified upside down. I mean, but all of the disciples understood persecution. Okay, they all understood it.
Yep.
When they speak of their commitment to their security and the safety of their flock, we should probably listen. And I'm telling you, Peter, what couldn't pick a better guy to preach those words. That's excellent.
Exactly. So I want to start. We're going to start talking about a security team. Okay, a security team is a bunch of people who have the same goal in mind. I'm going to go into the essential pillars of what I think make a right team for this application. Okay, like I said in the last video, I created a target package. Okay, and my target package also includes enemy disposition. And if I am the attacker, my enemy is possible security.
Right.
What would I fear most from a security team?
Yeah.
Attributes that I would fear the most. Your team makeup, okay? It needs to include trust, background, a volunteer force that has leadership, okay? And to break that down, the trust needs to be between you and everyone in your church.
Yep.
Not just you and the security team, not just you and God. It has to be everyone as a team.
Yeah.
You might be the security element. The church is the team.
Right.
Okay? Background. Background checks are just essential.
Yes.
Okay? It makes it reinforces trust, and it lets somebody know that they're serious.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of this, which goes into volunteering.
Right.
You can't make nobody do this.
No.
It needs to be a 100% volunteer force, and you need to be friendly to your volunteers. You cannot stretch them thin, have them missing out on church and their families.
Right.
You have to let them be what they want to be when they have time to be it.
Right.
They can't go to prison for not going to church.
Right.
All right?
Right.
And leadership. There needs to be a leader of the security team. And that leader cannot be running the church.
No.
Doing the finance department, running the daycare, and doing security.
Look, when you have a team, we're calling this a security team, but when you have a team, you can't always stop the game to have a democratic discussion on how we're going to do this, right?
Yes.
So your time for democracy is when you choose your team leader.
Yes.
Okay? And what this man's person says should be law. This should be the direction. There's no saying you can't have security team meetings and discuss what you think, but at the end of the day, your team leader has to be your leader. You have to have a sheriff and deputies, not a democratic republic.
When there's a call to be made, someone has to make it.
Right.
All right? And when it is least expected, you are elected.
Right.
If your team leader couldn't make it tonight, It might be you, brother.
Yeah, you might be the man, but
All right.
again, this background checks are important too. And
Yes.
they're easy nowadays.
They're easy, and for churches, there are deals with. I mean,
Sure.
You're with a church. The government is gonna help you. Do.
Well, and your local sheriff's department would probably help you too.
Yeah, most of them are probably in your church.
There you go. You probably have a member of your local sheriff's department sitting beside you on the pew.
And probably a prime member for the security
Probably.
team. So, which leads me into training. Okay, we cannot just arm people and throw them into church and
No.
say you are the
No.
security team. That is not how it works.
No.
These people need to go to a class, a real class.
Yes.
They don't need to go to the concealed carry, shoot 40 rounds on the paper.
Yeah.
They need to go to moving, shooting, communicating. If they're prior vets with combat experience, I want those guys to teach a class.
Yes.
Okay, it doesn't have to be nothing official,
No.
but these people cannot go into here blind.
Well,
okay?
if you have a vet in your church, and most people do,
Mm-hmm.
and look, nowadays we've talked about this. Nowadays we have a lot of young men who came back from that sandbox over there, and they're well trained.
Yes, they are.
Okay. These are the guys you want. Look, even if they're not teaching your class, it wouldn't hurt to get them to verify someone's qualifications with that firearm.
Yes, good point. Yes.
And it's a good guy. What kind of firearm do we need? How do we go about this as far as the weaponry we need to choose?
Mhm.
So again, use the resources you have in your church.
Yes, absolutely. And then qualifications. These guys on this team need to maintain a standard. I'm not saying they have to run 3 miles. I'm not saying they have to lift 500 pounds. But they do need to shoot to an acceptable quality.
Right.
An acceptable quality, for me, is higher than what most people shoot.
Right.
I want you to be perfect.
Yeah.
And if I can't get it, I'm getting as close
Get
as I
as
can.
close as I can get there.
Right?
Yep.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and guess what? When you get there, we're going to push it.
Yep.
We're going to push it till it fails, okay?
Yeah.
This is just what you want, all right?
Right.
And simulated training, all right? If y'all have to close the church off for a night and use magic guns, okay?
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew pew.
To just play out a scenario that one of y'all are concerned about, do it.
Yeah.
Do it with referees. Have an after-action talk.
Yeah.
Do it right. Don't just go, all right, guys, that was training for the night, and it was 10 minutes of just pew-pewing at each other between the pews.
Yeah.
Pew,
Yeah.
pew, pew, pew,
No,
pew
you.
in the pews.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%.
Right.
No, 100%.
Also, with your leadership, this is mainly going to be on who's leading the team. You need written standard operating procedures, or SOPs. And when I say written, it's basically an instruction book that someone has to read to qualify
Yep.
to be on the team.
Yep.
Okay? And written SOP needs to cover a couple things. Basic day-to-day operations. Okay? Where do you go? What do you do? What do we wear? Who's helping with the picnic on Saturday?
Right.
Who is covering the fellowship hall this week, and what do they do when they get there?
Right.
You need extensive medical SOP, okay? Because the odds are going to be there. You are going to have someone have a medical emergency in your church well before you will have a shooting.
Yeah.
You need, and the security team are prime
Yes.
to act on it.
Yeah. They
Okay, you need SOP for who's calling 911, what entrance are we bringing them to, what hospital could they go to, if we have to drive them, who's driving them?
Yeah.
All right, and then the kinetic aspect. When something actually happens, you need the written plan. Might be, we don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna play it by ear,
Yeah.
but it's written. If you make a written plan, you need to train on that plan.
Yeah.
When somebody hears a gunshot, the guy sitting in the back pew needs to go lock the door.
Right.
There
Right.
you go.
And
Right.
again, we discussed this in video 1. 75% of the actions that happen start outside the church. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going with the same thing I say every time I do a security video, situational awareness, right? So you're into the sermon, you're into the song, you're into it, right? The security team has to have one ear on that and one ear on what's going on, right? We're waiting to hear pop, 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 or someone scream, or tires screeching. Something that is different outside the church. At this point, action plan goes into action. Right?
Yes, and that needs to be written down. And medical training.
Yeah.
Take a stop the bleed class already. Stop waiting.
Yep.
Go to a stop the bleed class. You took one.
Yep.
What do you think?
Look, you can't get enough medical training, and look, every content creator on YouTube who does prepping and survival will tell you the same thing that I'm getting ready to say. You can't get too much medical training, okay? And even if you take the same medical training 3 times from 3 different dudes, you might hear one thing that will save a life. So you can't take enough, but let me tell you, Stop the Bleed is a wonderful class. You hear people talk about it, and then you actually learn why you're doing what you hear them talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And look, even if you don't take a Stop the Bleed class, put a trauma kit somewhere in your church, man.
Yeah.
Put a tourniquet weighs nothing. It fits in your pocket. Your church coat, stick a tourniquet in the pocket of your church coat, man.
Mm-hmm.
Look, and take CPR training.
Yes, you're going to use that. You're
Take
going to use
CPR
it.
training, and look, and if you have a church that has some money put aside for things, get one of the electric defibrillators, man.
Mm-hmm.
Get an automatic defibrillator and put in your church. I've had heart trouble, and those things could save a life. It don't even have to be a heart attack. People could go into AFib, and people do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They go into people have perfectly healthy hearts, go into AFib, and a defibrillator saves their life.
Yep.
Just like that. So I mean, these are things. Look, money's money, and those things aren't necessarily cheap. They're way cheaper than they used to be. And there are lots of organizations that are willing to get you one at a bargain price.
Mm-hmm.
But first aid is so important to active shooter situation. But when you got people of all ages in your church, we got old people, we got young people, we got little kids that fall, we got old people that fall. Look, have a first aid kit in your church. If you don't, you're doing a disservice. And
I agree.
And again, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but look, the security team is a really good. If you have a security team, the security team is a really good place for them to do this cursory inspection of your entire church and say, here's the choke points, here's the danger zones. But here we can put a first aid kit right here in the vestibule by the bathroom. We could put an automatic defibrillator over here against the wall, and these are things that a security team can do. That involves security.
Their entire focus is on that, and everyone else gets to worship.
There you go.
They're sacrificing time at church to make it better for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, and that brings me to my next point. This is going to get a little technical. I'm going to try to portray in my little church that I drew here exactly what I mean, okay? So, if you're one of the, the 1-2 guy security team at a small church, all the pews are facing down the aisle towards the front of the church. Your security team you need to identify the proper places for your security people to be. All right? Sitting in the middle of the pews, in the absolute middle, I understand. Some of the old folks can't make it to the middle of the pew. If you have to give up your spot and sit 3 steps in, fine.
Right.
You need to be able to get access and ability to move immediately. We want to try to sit towards the back. I know Baptists, we don't have this problem.
No, we all sit at the back.
We all sit right here. I think that's where we sit, right there.
Yeah, in fact, my church doesn't even have pews anymore.
Yeah, they took out the first 3 rows because nobody
sits there.
Built a bigger stage. So where do you sit? I know you want to sit close to an exit. Your job isn't to exit now.
Right. Right. No.
Maybe
No.
maybe one of your maybe
No. You have became the shepherd. Now you have to fight the wolf.
right.
Okay. That's an important point.
Yes.
That's an important point because you have decided, you have volunteered to become the shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
You have to fight the wolf.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, you're not going out the exit.
You might be holding it.
Unless the threat is outside the exit. But
Mhm.
you know, so it don't hurt to put a chair over here and face the door.
Yeah. Sit in the vestibule.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you can hear from there.
Yeah, you can hear just fine. And I know you want to sit with your family, but I want you to do both. All right.
Yeah.
I want you to do both. Your church is your church. You know exactly where that spot
Yeah,
is.
you know where the spot is. Yeah,
So, as a security team, right, when you got more than just a couple guys, you need to assign people where to go when something happens. I would call them posts.
Yeah.
Someone might call them stations.
yeah,
Right? There might be somebody in the vestibule. Okay? There might be somebody who doesn't get to go to church on this service and you trade and somebody sits outside. There might be one at each corner. There might be one by the exit door. There might be one in preacher's chambers.
yeah,
Waiting for something to come through the back of the church.
right.
Right? So you need to identify those areas of ingress and egress. You might be holding the door open for people to get out.
Yeah.
If there's a fire.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? So fire is also part of
Right.
this. I know my church is simple, but it illustrates the point that this is just a big bullet funnel if somebody walks in the front door.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to plug the hole.
Yes.
I hate it for you. And I'm going to send flowers to your family if I can.
Quit.
Dog seeing dog man.
I think the dog sees a cat on the floor.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all, my dog's growling a little bit there.
But, and patrols.
Uh-uh.
If you have a big enough church to where you need a roving patrol,
Yeah.
right? Because some of these churches sprawl. I mean, they
Oh, yeah.
sprawl. They
Yeah,
have
yeah.
they have sky hallways that people drive under, and they have multiple fellowship halls.
Yes.
They have the teen church across the street. You might need somebody who has to just walk between all the buildings and make sure the doors are shut.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and you know, and again, this brings in the communication aspect too. And again, Balfung radios are cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
They sure are.
you should talk again. The security team. I'm talking to you because you're the one that's going to bring up to the deacon board. Hey, look, we need $100. We need 8 radios and a charger.
Mm-hmm.
So you need this radio communication, and guess what? That comes around to some more training.
Weird.
Funny how when you buy a new piece of equipment, you need to learn how to use it.
Funny.
It's kind of like prepping. You know, when you're a prepper and you buy a new piece of something, you learn how to use it.
Right.
Well, it's the same deal.
And with these patrols and with the stations, with the leadership, comes some discipline. You might have to show up to church early.
Yeah.
You might, if your church starts at 9, you might have to show up at 8 so
Yeah.
that you can sweep the interior of the church, so that you can make sure the doors can lock.
Yeah.
So that you can make sure the doors can open.
Right.
Right? And it might take you an hour to do that, depending
It
on
might
your church.
depend on the size of your church.
Right. You might be running to service. You might have to show up even earlier.
Yeah.
It also means you have to stay late.
Yep.
The last person out this door, and then you re-secure.
Right.
All right? I'm sure the big money box you have at home, you lock it when you close it.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So do the same with your church.
Yep.
Off-time patrolling, like I was talking about in the last video. Eating lunch across the street when there's an event going on.
Yep.
Stopping by. Saying, hey, guys, I know my wife's doing the Red Hat dinner tonight. I'll sit in the parking lot.
Right.
I'll sit in the fellowship hall while they're eating cookies and drinking tea. Hey, my son is going to youth church tonight, and I'm going to go sit in the back.
Right.
Okay? You also get more worship out of it.
There you go.
I mean, it can't hurt.
And the hearing of the word is the learning of the word.
Exactly.
So, there
Exactly.
you go. The more you hear it, the more you learn it.
So, with that all said, the discipline and the trust you are putting on yourself, okay, you can't be that guy who is security at church and then immediately goes into town and starts acting like a jackrabbit.
Oh yes.
Okay?
No. You're representing your church.
Yes, you are. You're
representing Christianity.
Yes, because you are managing the flock now.
Yes.
Okay, you have to put on that shirt and it can't come off.
No.
Okay? I know we love to have fun.
Yes.
We got to keep it under control.
Right on.
And we can't be the jerk neighbor. We can't be any of that, because guess what? I'm sure on your Facebook page you're going to say I'm part of so and so Methodist security team, and guess what? You're going to bring some real shade down on the church, and you might be asked to leave.
Oh yeah, that is entirely possible.
That is a lot of drama that happens with security teams, and some of these stats come from personal conflicts within the church.
Yeah.
I cannot remember the percentage, but it is higher than you may think. I think it was 13% of all things were parishioner on parishioner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so it is not worth it to take on this job if you cannot control your personal life and your personal feelings when you're not doing the job.
Right.
All right, we expect that out of our firefighters. We expect that out of our police officers.
Yep.
We expect that out of our political figures.
Yep.
It's expected out of you.
Yeah.
And you volunteered for the job.
Yeah.
You weren't voted in.
No. You walked in and said, I want to do this.
Yes.
And you should be applauded for that.
Yes, I agree.
But again, when you become a shepherd, there is responsibility that comes along with it, and you have to know that going in. So, but
I want to round this off. John 10, 11 through 18. Okay, I'm not going to say the whole thing. I just want, I want the most powerful line. Okay, if you don't know, this is the verse where Jesus talks about him being a good shepherd.
Yep.
Okay, this is on a lot of posters. Okay.
Oh yeah.
The good shepherd lays down his life for his flock.
Yeah.
I think that is possibly the most powerful message.
Yeah.
He says the good shepherd.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
When Jesus is talking in that, he says, I am the good shepherd. But then he says the good shepherd.
Right.
He has an example of what a good shepherd is, and he wants to be the good shepherd.
Well, Jesus laid down his life for us. So, it's a calling that you have to be willing to do that. And again, your family's in that church too.
Mm-hmm.
But church is an important place to us. That's why this subject was important that we talked about. Our church is our sanctuary. It is where we go. It's our friends and our family, and we go there and we feel good when we leave, and we're preparing ourselves for what comes after this life. So, church is important, and it's an important part of our culture here in America. But, and again, I don't think Landon and I started this with the intent of laying down how this should be done. But I hope that when we all walk away, we have a plan and a thought process going on that will make our church and our community a safer place. Thank you, son, for showing up tonight, and we got this. This was important to me. I called him a few days ago and told him this was important. I want to send a shout out to Chance Paladin. He's the one that really gave me the idea for this one after my workplace security video. But again, security is a choice you have to make, no matter what. We're talking about workplace, home, church, school. It's a thought process that we all need to think about. It's a shame that we have to think about it, but we live in the world we live in, and so we need to be thinking about it. But thank you again for tuning in. Landon with Murmured Press, half-ass ready. Thank you. Remember to tell the ones you love that you love them. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. Let's get full ass ready.